Hi everyone. This is a crash course on full stack web application development using Angular, Spring Boot, and MySQL. Myself, Raghuprasad KS. I am the CEO of Kaushalya.Tech. So, a brief introduction about me. I have overall 24 years of experience, out of which I was a lecturer in engineering college for about 7 years, into IT from past 17 years, worked with companies like Cisco, CSE, ICICI, First Apex. From past 2.5 years, I started Kaushalya Technologies, an education technology company. We are currently into corporate training, consultancy, and application development. I work with many corporates and public sectors. I predominantly worked on technologies like Java, Python, data sciences, web technologies, JavaScript technologies like MinStack, Internet of Things test automation using Java, Selenium, and JMeter. So in this course, I would be starting with the introduction to full stack web application development, which are all the technologies that could be used for developing a full stack web application and demonstration of a full stack web application. So this is the first part of the video. The course objective is to learn and explore full stack web application development, here specifically using Java and Angular. Learn by understanding the code. Develop the end-to-end module of a full web application development. So what is a full web application development? Full stack web application development. So when we develop an application, web application, there are two parts to it. One is called as the front end, or we call it as a client side. Another one is the back end or the server side. So front end is the one which we can see and we can interact. Backend is the one which we cannot see. Basically, it has the application logic, business logic, and also data storage. As a full stack web developer, we should have the ability to design and develop a complete web application. So we should be able to work on the front end, back end, as well as database, and debugging the web application or the websites which we are developing. As far as the front end is concerned, this is the visible part of the web application or the website, which is through which the user interacts. You can use different technologies for developing the web application. So basically, you can work with HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Ajax. Nowadays, in order to bring in object-oriented programming concepts, make the front-end web application more modular, we have frameworks which are developed on top of the JavaScript, namely Angular, React. Bootstrap is used for the CSS, jQuery, and also you have SAS. As far as the backend is concerned, this is where we will be doing the server-side web application development. Basically, we would be writing the business logic for the web application, and also we will be storing the information in the database, retrieving the information. Basically, we will be doing the thread operation. So when it comes to the backend, there are plenty of options. We can use languages like PHP, C++, Java, Python, JavaScript. So JavaScript in the form of Node.js, which is a server-side runtime environment for the JavaScript. We can use frameworks, which are few of them are developed on top of the JavaScript, few on our traditional programming languages like Express, Django, Rails, Laravel, and the Spring. As far as the database is concerned, we can use RDBMS or NoSQL. RDBMS, namely Oracle, MySQL, and then MS SQL, PostgreSQL, also document databases like MongoDB. So there are a few popular stacks which people would be working when they want to develop full stack web application development, namely the mean stack, that is Mongo, Express, Angular, and Node. All these frameworks are on top of the JavaScript. Similarly, MERN stack is Mongo, Express, React, and Node. And Django, again, it is built on the Python, the Python framework, Python, Django, and then MySQL. Then you have Rails on Ruby, Rails or Ruby on Rails. And also earlier we were using LAMP stack, still people continue to use it like Linux, Apache, MySQL, and PHP. There are a few hybrid stacks where the backend could be your traditional programming languages and the front end could be JavaScript frameworks like Angular, Java, and Spring, React, Java, and Spring, Angular, Python, and Django. So there are plenty of options which are available as far as the developing a full stack web application. So as a full stack web developer, so you need to know many things because you would be developing the end-to-end application or end-to-end module of a particular application. So what are these key skills of a full stack developer? So for any developer, one necessity is to understand the exact requirement and understand the use cases, understand the customer needs, and then convert the use case into a wireframe or a user interface with the help of the graphic designer. So they can come up with a wireframe as well as the user interface. So wireframe is nothing but just putting down the requirement in the form of a presentable form or in the form of a user interface or in the form of basically navigation through many menus and all. And they should also know like how to develop a responsive web application, because nowadays we are viewing the application not only through our laptop or through desktop, we are mostly on the tab as well as on the mobile device. So we should be able to, as a full stack developer, they should know like how to do the front end programming, understand the overall project architecture and the relevant design patterns that is being used in the front end as well as in the back end. And for the integration with the front end, they have to develop a application programming interfaces. So most of the time they will be developing web services, so which is used for the integration with front end technology. So front end could be a mobile application or it could be a web application. And also they should understand like how to interface with third-party software. There could be payment gateways, there could be ERPs, so how to interface with the third-party software and develop the application programming logic as well as interfacing with the database. Also, they should know like how to do unit testing and then the integration testing. So plenty of things to learn as a full stack web developer. So with latest technological upgradation, also in the changing environment with the startup culture and the startup way of actually developing few things in a quick and fast way. So there is a lot of demand for people who know like full stack development. And from the architecture perspective, there are different architectures which they should be aware of. So architecture basically describes here, web architect, application architect describes the interaction between the applications, databases, the middleware systems. So it ensures that multiple users can interact with the application. Also, like there are a lot of other things like functional requirements, non-functional requirements. Those things should be considered when we actually select a proper application architecture. So there are plenty of architectures. One is the service-oriented architecture. So here, few of the application programs can be converted as a service which could be consumed by the consumers of that particular service. So the architecture should be flexible enough to accommodate any new channels of rendering the services. And there is another thing like which is called as the model view controller, or we call it as the MVC. So where segregations of roles and responsibilities in terms of the programming, where model stores the data, view is the one which a user can see, as well as the controller is like a traffic controller which takes the request and passes to the corresponding business logic layer, as well as and then it will connect to the databases. So now with the usage of with the mobile being extensively used, so the web application, whatever we would be developing, we need to consider something called a single page application where people wanted to see on a single page most of the functionalities. So there won't be switching between different pages. So that is also should be considered when we are developing the full stack web application. Also, there is a microservices wherein which monolithic application could be divided into small services, which is a independent unit which you can develop and deploy independent of other modules or other modules or the other services of the web application. Then we should be also knowing what is called as the serverless architecture in terms of how to deploy the application we develop onto a server or to a cloud. So this is the brief introduction about the full stack web application development. So in this session, I covered what exactly is the full stack web application development. As a full stack web application developer, what are the technology options we have and the different architectures which we need to consider when we are developing a full stack web application. Thank you. In the mm, next session, I would be covering how to develop a full stack web application starting from the server side programming, where we will be developing the we were developing the business logic for a particular web application. So thanks for your time.